Retiring with a $3 million portfolio at 60. How to generate tax-efficient income. If you're planning to retire at age 60 with a $3 million portfolio, the biggest question isn't just, do I have enough? That's what people think. But it's, how do I turn this into income without overpaying in taxes? Because two retirees with identical $3 million portfolios, well, they can end up with very different outcomes depending on how that income is structured when they decide to take it. And before we get started, I'm Jennifer Taylor, Senior Partner at E3 Wealth. We work with high net worth individuals and families to design tax-efficient retirement strategies and long-term wealth plans. Today, I want to walk you through a real-style scenario, what it actually looks like to retire at 60 with $3 million, and how to generate income from that portfolio in a tax-efficient way. The $3 million scenario. So let's assume a simple structure. You retire at 60, $1.5 million in traditional IRAs, 401ks, $1 million in taxable brokerage accounts, and maybe $500,000 in Roth account. You want to generate about $120,000 per year in retirement income. The question is, where should that income come from? Because the order in which you draw from these accounts, well, that matters more than most people realize. So the default approach usually becomes the problem with most retirees. They follow a pretty simple pattern. They start withdrawing from their tax-deferred accounts, which would be an IRA, 401k, or they take a pro rata approach across all the accounts. So the issue is traditional IRA withdrawals, well, they're fully taxable as ordinary income. So if you pull $120,000 from your IRA, you've just created $120,000 of taxable income. That can push you into higher tax brackets, and that can potentially create additional tax consequences later. A more strategic approach, income layering. Instead, a more efficient approach often involves something that we call income layering. So the idea here is to pull income from different account types in a way that minimizes taxes over time. For example, you might withdraw a portion from your traditional IRA, but just enough that you're keeping your standard deduction or in your lower tax bracket. Then you can cover the remaining income needs from your taxable accounts or maybe some from your Roth accounts. Because remember, Roth accounts, their withdrawals are tax-free and you don't increase your taxable income when you pull from them. They allow you to maintain your lifestyle without pushing you into a higher tax bracket. So why timing matters at 60? Well, this especially is a powerful time at age 60 because you're in what we would refer to as a planning window, a sweet spot. You don't have Social Security yet, and you haven't started getting those required minimum distributions or any forced withdrawals. So that gives you some flexibility. You can intentionally decide how much taxable income to create each year and how much to keep tax-free. So that flexibility, that doesn't last forever because once Social Security begins and RMDs kick in later, well, now income becomes a lot harder to control. The role of the Roth accounts. Well, this is where Roth accounts play a critical role. They act as a tax-free buffer. You can use them to supplement your income, avoid jumping into higher tax brackets, and manage your overall tax profile year by year. Now, for many retirees, Roth assets become the most flexible part of the portfolio, the long-term impact. Now, here's the key point. This isn't just about reducing taxes in 1 year. It's about managing taxes over a 20 to 30 year retirement. Because if you consistently overdraw from taxable accounts, you may end up with larger IRA balances later on, higher required minimum distributions, and higher taxes in your 70s and 80s, and that affects other things as well. A coordinated strategy, that can give you a smoother withdrawal over time. Now, the biggest misconception is that retirement is just about how much you withdraw. The reality is where you withdraw from and when. That's what determines your long-term tax outcome. If you're planning to retire with a $3 million portfolio, or really any portfolio, especially around age 60, the structure of your income strategy matters. just as much as the size of the portfolio itself. Because the difference between a reactive approach and a coordinated strategic plan, that can be very significant over time. If you would like help designing a retirement income strategy that's built around tax efficiency and long-term planning, well, we invite you to schedule a conversation with our team. Because retirement isn't just about having enough. It's about making that wealth work as efficiently as possible for the rest of your life.